Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we are talking Week 17 Championship Week for Fantasy Wide Receivers Edition. So if you haven't already, make sure you guys smash that subscribe button. Check out our other start and sit videos for running back and quarterback. And of course, stay tuned for our tight end start and sit video as well. And of course, if you guys have questions for your lineups, please hit us up in the comments down below. We'd love to help answer those tough questions. Again, there's a game on Saturday, there's a game on Sunday, no Monday night game. So we'll be finishing off this week and for the championship with the Vikings and Packers. So a lot of great games this weekend, a lot of playoff, potential, good stuff. Now, as far as wide receivers, these are your obvious starts at the wide receiver position. Without question, whether these guys are getting plenty of targets, opportunities, or they just have great matchups, or they are that guy, they should be in your lineup. Now, the first recommended wide receiver I have this week is going to be George Pickens versus the Seahawks. And it's not because I'm living in the moment of what just happened that Pickens had last week. Part of it is the fact that you have Mason Rudolph, which is, I think, an upgrade at this point over Kenny Pickett. I've stressed this before. Having Rudolph in is great. He knows his offense really well. Now, I'm not saying he should be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers for next year or anything like that, but I think it's perfect for this situation. Pickens is a big play type of receiver, but unfortunately does get swallowed up by the fact that he's not always going to get forced a lot of opportunities. He is that big play guy. Deontay obviously is the one who's going to get a lot of targets his way. But I like this matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks right now, look, they're not playing great. They're allowing 18.5 points a game. They're allowing a touchdown per game to the wide receiver as well. So again, this matchup, I think Pickens has a nice little wide receiver 2 outing this week. He's probably going to be on your bench just because I know a lot of people are uncertain. I get it. Now, those who are risky and try to play somebody, especially in championship week, I think Pickens will be a nice little flex play, especially since, again, there are some injuries like Waddle out, for example. Like there's some players that are not going to be playing this week. I think Pickens is a nice little fill-in. Another receiver I like is Nico Collins versus the Titans. Look, 2 weeks ago, they played the Titans. Nico did not play, but Noah Brown, who did play, did a really good job. And that was without CJ Stroud. Nico is going against the Titans, who are, again, allowing 20.2 points a game, a touchdown per game, and he'll have CJ Stroud this week, which is great. This is a huge game between Tennessee and Houston. Houston's absolutely trying to fight for a playoff spot. I'm excited to see how this plays out. Obviously, there's still no Tank Dell due to IR and his injury, but Nico is going to have Noah Brown expected this week as well. So some good play here. I like Nico Collins. I think Nico Collins can finish as a solid wide receiver 1. Yes, that's the type of performance I think he can have. I think he'll put in, a 20 to 22 point type of week. I like this matchup for Nico. Now, the last receiver I'm going to mention as a good start is going to be Drake London versus the Bears. Look, I get it. I don't trust this offense. I don't trust the quarterback play, and you probably don't either. But I just have a feeling this matchup is going to be a game that I think Drake London has a really good outing. I think he's going to have 80 yards. I think he's going to have about 6 receptions and a touchdown, which will put him in a nice wide receiver 2, low wide receiver 1 outing. Look, Bears, they're allowing 15.9 points a game, which isn't great, but they are allowing touchdown per game. And I do think that Heineke will have a decent game because realistically, this Atlanta team is still fighting for possible division lead, right? Obviously, they need the Bucs lose, but there's still a chance for them. Bears right now are fighting for nothing. Not to say they won't play hard, but they're really not fighting for anything. I do give this edge to Atlanta. I think they're going to obviously utilize Bijan. At least you're hoping so. I'm hoping Arthur Smith decides to actually put a good offense together. But I secretly like Drake London. I think he's going to have a good game this week. Now, my first receiver I'm going to sit, Calvin Ridley versus the Panthers. Too many things going on right here. One, since the bye week, Panthers have actually been really good against the pass, holding wide receivers to 13.6 points a game. And on top of that, Ridley will be really a focal point for this offense, right? You've got Evan Ingram, Ridley, and Travis Etienne, right? Zay Jones, I'm not really sure where he stands right now with his injury. Obviously, Kirk is still out. And now, on top of that, you're not going to have Trevor Lawrence due to all the stuff that's going on with him. Banged up shoulder, concussion, ankle. I mean, there's so much going on. Trevor Lawrence is expected out, which means you're going to be playing with CJ Beathard, and I don't trust that matchup for Calvin Ridley. Now, could Ridley have a good game? Absolutely. He's going to be force-fed some targets and opportunities, but the Panthers have actually done a really good job against the pass. I am a little nervous. Another receiver I'm considering, again, depending on how deep your roster is DJ Moore versus the Falcons. Look, in the last 5 games, Atlanta's done a great job holding wide receivers to 11.9 points a game, and they have not allowed a touchdown since week 9. They have done a great job. No one's talking about them enough defensively, but they're doing a really good job defensively. DJ Moore has had an amazing season, especially when he has, Justin Fields at quarterback. I think Justin Fields has a good game. I think just because of his rushing ability and can get a score on the ground, I do think this can be a tough matchup for DJ Moore. I don't think he's going to put up the points you're hoping. I think he's going to be more around 12 to 13 points, which is okay. Maybe a flex play for you, but I'm not expecting that wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 type of trajectory. Now, the last receiver I'm going to mention, Quentin Johnston versus the Broncos. Look, no Palmer, no Keenan Allen. Quentin Johnston is the guy at this point. Now, this is definitely more of a desperate move, but I have to mention him as a sit because I don't believe he should be in your lineup. You have Easton Stick at your quarterback. Again, I mentioned Palmer and Keenan Allen not playing. Now you're playing against the Denver Bronco defense that's doing a really good job, and you're going to have Patrick Surtain covering him in this whole outing. Quentin has not shown enough that I feel confident as a good starting wide receiver. He's definitely a complimentary receiver and still learning in this offense. I don't think he's quite ready to really show off in the NFL yet. I think he's got still some opportunities. Maybe a future. Again, that's a whole dynasty question, but as far as a redraft, I'm putting him in my bench. Now, a sleeper for the week. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I have Greg Dortch versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, Hollywood Brown is expected out. He's got his injuries. I don't think they're going to play him anymore. I think he's shut down. Kyler Murray is a concern because he is dealing with an injury. I'm not sure if they're going to shut him down. Nothing shows that, but a possibility. So this does make this a little bit of a nerve-wracking kind of situation because if Murray is out, Greg Dortch doesn't have the same value. But if Murray does play, I like this as a nice little sleeper because realistically, let's be honest, Philly, not great against the pass. They have struggled quite a bit, especially for smaller receivers or the slot receiver. Greg Dortch kind of fits both. Rondell Moore's still there. I think he's going to have some value. Trey McBride's obviously going to be force-fed. He's an obvious start when I talk about tight ends. But Greg Dortch, I think, can have a good game. He had 12 points last week. It kind of came out of nowhere because all season has been quiet, where last year he had actually a really good season for himself. I do like this one. I think he's going to be 15, maybe 18 points. Like, that's the kind of potential he has. Nice little sneaky flex play. Again, I know it's championship week, so you've got to play the right players. I'm not saying you're going to put him over certain receivers, but if you're looking at your roster, you've got a lot of injuries, you don't have a lot of depth, and Greg Dortch is sitting there, I would consider putting him in my lineup. So those are my start sits and sleepers for week 17. If you guys do have questions for your lineup, hit me up in the comments down below. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to the like button. Follow me on X and Instagram and anywhere else on social media as well, and I'll check you guys out next time.